Hey, good afternoon. Welcome to my crafty channel here. I'm Paula and we are starting today the new little series called Moments Made Monthly. Oh my goodness, I had a little blank. Must be my age. But anyway, we are going to be putting together our little kits. Those that have actually subscribed to this have already been sent all the instructions via email, and you're going to find lots of little hidden tips and tricks on those instructions. So if you haven't yet subscribed, you are most welcome to still join in the fun. We will have this month's, the January month's layout available for the next week. So you can still go onto my events page and sign yourself in and join in the fun and get all those instructions and tips and tricks. So what I'm going to do today is turn you around and give you a little glimpse at what we've been up to, what the little layout could look like if you put it together, and also some of the little techniques that you might like to try. I'm also going to sort of show you some of the highlights and the photos that I've chosen for the month of January. This is just a fun way to capture some of those little snapshots, those things that maybe wouldn't make it into albums necessarily. They're just little moments in time that just either took your fancy or were significant for the month. And it's just a really nice way to sort of do a summary of the month. So let me flick you over, show you what I'm onto here in my little craft room, and let's see if we can get you started capturing your moments each month too. So I'll just turn you around and let's have a look at my little space. Okay, so this is not completed, but it's almost there, but I just wanted to let you see the last few touches. Oh, I'm sorry, it's just a little bit wobbly. I think we're good now. And you can see it's a nice, clean, simple page. What we're trying to achieve with these moments made monthly is to allow you to get a lot of photos on the page. So in this particular example, we've gone for that really standard classic grid layout. We've got some 3x3 photos dotted around. I've so far managed to get 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8 on here. I've got another couple of spaces to make 10. And of course, I've got a few other blank spots, which I could have also fill in. You know, it could be an entirely filled in space of photos. Another little option we can do to add photos is use our little flip flaps, which I'm not going to talk too much about this month, but if you've ever used them before, they're like little mini memory protectors, and you can use a 3x3 size ones to go on top of a photo space and get another 2 photos in, which is another really good way to get a few extra photos. However, if you have got a 6x4 photo that you don't want to cut down, you want it to be the highlight, this layout still works really well for that. You are going to have to do a slight bit of trimming if you don't want to adjust other measurements. But if you can trim this down to sort of, instead of being 4 inches wide, to sort of 3.5 inches, or even 3 inches, but even 3.5 inches would work, you'd be able to get this sitting over 2 squares worth without taking up too much more real estate and upsetting the rest of the layout. You can obviously do it either direction, horizontal or vertical, and you will definitely be able to get a few extra photos, the larger photos, in if you wish to. So that's just one little tip for you there. Now you'll see we are using the Stunning range. It's actually a sort of a beachy summery range. This phone just keeps moving, I'm sorry guys. Beachy summery range, which I'll just show you now. It's called the Beach Time, or that's at least is what the workshop kit's called. There is a sticker sheet that goes with it. We haven't yet used any stickers on this page, but there's some really stunning papers in this that have a little bit of a summery, watery theme, but again, this here is a bit like a garland, so it could be a celebratory background. And in your instructions, you'll see this is actually the page that was used. So 2 sheets of these were in the background behind all the photos. Then on the other side of this, there's some ticket shapes, which are really good cutout embellishments, which again, in your instructions, you'll see they were used. There is some lovely shades of slightly pinks and purples going on with that same celebratory look, and a really neat marbly effect. It's almost like you've done a lot of mixed media work there for that page, but it's all done for you. In this paper, you can also celebrate beach times, going tropical times. You could use a piece of this with all those beautiful trees along the bottom, cut it in half and add that to your page. And on the other side of that one, we have got, let's just have a little look, see, oh, that was that one. We've got another marbly page with a really cool watery effect. I love that one. That is quite neat in here. There's still more. There is your classic palm tree, but in a pink, which is kind of cool. I'm not sure what's going on with my I'm getting closer and closer, so I'm going to have to tighten things up here, I think, and go back up. Hang on a second. Sorry guys, this is unusual, and we'll just get us a little bit higher again. Oh my goodness me. Technology is great when it works, and a little frustrating when it's not. Now, let's see if we have more success. Okay, and then on the back side of that, we have this lovely graduating pinks and purple sunsettier vibe. And then there's also this carnival effect, which I think is quite fun. So we've got a couple of shades of that. Now this has got that graduation effect, and you'll see that is used on this layout on the two sidebars as a bit of interest. So you can see there's a lot of lovely pages in that paper pack itself, which can be used to decorate as well as create a backdrop. Now I'm doing a little bit of a cheat because I've actually used the scrapbooking workshop kit for mine, purely because I love the layouts in the scrapbook workshop kit. I'll show you those at the end, actually, what I've created, but at least this gives you a little taste that you can still make, stretch that kit to be able to do this one as well. Okay, we're still not quite right here with our camera work. Let's just see if I can make it a little better. There we go. Right, that will do the job, I think. Okay, so I haven't stuck everything down. I've stuck my little cubes down. However, when I started to look at my photos, I was starting to see a little hint of red coming through. So what I have chosen, just first off with my photos, are things from the whole family. So I have got my daughter's over in Germany at the moment, which is full of snow, so quite a different aspect of life in January for her. And it's actually her birthday month, January, so I haven't got a photo of her on her birthday yet in here, but I have grabbed this one of her in the snow. My mum moved house, which we helped her do, so I popped that little photo in there of the moving van leaving. We've obviously spent a bit of time at the beach, which is Greg's happy place. He loves going to the water there. We went on a bit of a holiday over Raglan Way, and there's that beautiful Bridal Veil Falls. So you can kind of see I've just got a mixture of photos. They're just snapshots of my time over January. There's me with my beautiful little girl Lily, my little cat. The boys have been to the what are they called? At Horsham Downs, all the go-karts, so they had a bit of fun there. We've been to parks, and of course we've had the traumatic events that went on with all the weather and everything at the Mount. So I've got some lovely photos here. I've actually got a couple more to pop onto my page, or at least one of these. But I wanted to show you how I printed my photos. So to get to your 3x3 size, I've used standard 6x4 photo print, but I've added 2 photos per page. And you can usually do that through a collage feature on the machines that do your printing, whether you're printing at home or whether you're printing at an actual development site. Now what I'm just going to do here is trim this one down. I definitely want this one, so I'm going to trim it down, and I've been trimming them down to just under 3x3 so that we get quite a nice amount of the photo in. I'll just check that I've got what I want here. And this is my daughter. She went to Sound Splash over in Raglan, so her first little music festival. She loved it, so I think she's hooked. And I think that one could look quite nice over here. So I've just got a little white border by adding that one in. So let's just stick that one down now so it's committed. But as I was saying before, I noticed that a lot of these photos have got an element of red in them. And particularly if I'm going to use this photo, I'm still not sure which is my final photo. I've got a few different options. This is my mum, and she met up with her 2 sisters, which is quite a lovely thing to do. It doesn't happen very often because they don't live very, very close. So she just did that recently. So I'll just trim this down. I might just get a teensy little bit more off my Auntie Janice. Let's just trim off the bottom and trim off the top. I'm using this little trimmer just because it does very precise cutting, and I knew I'd just be doing these little thin pieces. So if I pop this over here now, you're going to see all the sort of red little pops coming through, and I wasn't such a fan of this colour, although it is part of the colour scheme for this layout. You can see how it's sort of coming through on this side piece, but I also felt it was getting into the reds near the bottom, so I decided I'd bring in Strawberry Slush instead. So let's just try that. We have got the light side. I just tap those on, and we'll have to remove those because they look pretty gaudy against it. And we pop another one behind this piece just to see what it would look like. And I'm already thinking that this works better for my layout in terms of colourings. So I do play around with the colourings, even if you are following along with what we are suggesting. Maybe your photos are just going to not quite work. So do that and give that a little go. Now, we just suggested a few different stamp sets to help you along completing this page. Now, we're definitely looking for stamp sets that you're going to use over and over. This one came out last year, and it's definitely a highlight. It's one that I do bring back into my stash a lot. A Day to Remember, Family and Friends, both very useful titles. But what's extra useful is all these little subtitles as well. We've got a lovely background little pattern. We've got the scallop border, which is just delightful. You could definitely be stamping a little scallop border under a few elements on here to make it look quite pretty. And so I just think this one is really worthwhile if you haven't yet got it. So we're going to use that one today. And then this is a new one, the Joyful Squares. This has just come out in January. And it came with the die set, but of course when I ordered it, I failed to put in the bundle code. I just put in the stamp code, which was a silly mistake. So I haven't got the bundle to show you today. However, you can fussy cut bits, so that's what we're going to be doing. But it's got, again, really good titles. Love These Days, Little Snippets of Joy. I just love that. That's awesome. Good Times. You've got some really usable little icons and patterns that we can use on scrapbooking a lot. And that little date stamp. So between the two of them, I think we're going to keep pulling out on the, and keep using these ones throughout the year. So they are good ones to have in your stash. So the little bit of stamping that we've got going on here, let's just pull this to one side. And I'll just grab in my stamping mat. So what we've suggested is that you stamp a couple of little titles. And we suggested that you do a little bit of fun down here. So I just wanted to show you how this one was done. Okay, which don't get that one. So this one down here is using a rather lovely little stamp from in here. And it's just a little sun ray. So we're going to grab that. But we're just suggesting that there is, instead of keeping it just with one solid colour, we know sort of sunset, sunrises, and just during the day even, the sunshine can have a lot of variety to it in terms of colour. So we're going to start with our yellows, pull in a bit of that yellow, but then, sorry, I'm going to shake you slightly because this is a wobbly table. I've got a little bit of yellow in here, but before I stamp it, I want to now pull in this, what we call it, strawberry slush. Because that colour is really going to help to bring in the sunsetty, sunrisey vibe. So what we do is we've got these little packs of sponge daubers. They come in sets of, I think it's 5. I think this is the exact amount, so it's got 5. So I'm going to grab one that's going to work for my strawberry slush. I'm going to dab it on my ink pad. And then I'm just going to go around the centre of the sun ray. Not right to the edges. I just want a little bit of colour on the inside of it. Now when I flip this over, I'm going to get 2 tones. I'm going to get both the yellow and I'm going to get my strawberry slush. So you're going to see, it might not show up hugely, but you can see there is that sun ray with the yellows in there as well. Now the one I did over here had the more purpley vibe, so I will switch it out. I grabbed from here the little word holiday fun. To me, summertime, January, it's all generally our holiday time. So I'm just popping in the word holiday fun in there, and I'll finish that off in a little bit later. Now, another thing you may have noticed is that I haven't kept my squares plain. So I pulled in some of those colours, but I've got a little bit of a pattern going on. So again, what we can do is grab our strawberry slush piece, or whichever colour you're working with, and I can go with the light side or the dark side here, and I think I'll still stick with the darker side. And I'm going to carry on with the same ink colour, strawberry slush. And I'm just going to stamp along the background. So very easy, very simple, but we are creating just a really nice pattern that helps to elevate the page a little bit more. So the cardstock now has got a little bit more interest. That's going to sit behind there. We're going to have the word holiday fun on there, and we're going to have that popped up. So that's going to look great. Right. You'll also notice with another one of our titles, we have this little snippets of joy. So what we can do to make it look a little bit less stark white is we can go in there with a sponge dauber, a brush, and I'm just going to bring in the yellows, which in this case is Daffodil Delight, and I'm going to go just around in circles very lightly. Once this is dried off, and add a little touch of yellow into the center. So again, that's helping that little spot to pop up. In fact, I'm going to do a little bit in here too, because once I've stamped my little element in there, that will help that text stand out. Of course, we also will need to stamp this one in the background to finish off and keep the consistency, and I can keep that on the light side or the dark side. And you'll also see I've pulled in a journaling pen, because I think with this whole look, and particularly with the stamp set that we have in our stash here, this little idea here, it's quite hand-drawn effect. Now that just reminds me, we haven't yet stamped our little pieces here. So we've got a little one that's going to come in on this side, and I'm going to do one more now. So I'll just do that one in front for you to see. We're just going to stamp, where did I leave that little cutie? Oh, there it is. And I use Secret C for it. Secret C is almost black, but it's got a really nice sort of deep inky vibe. So I'm just going to stamp that one on here. And we literally just grab some scissors, and it's the easiest thing to fussy cut. If you had the die set, you wouldn't need to do this, but silly me. Sometimes it's fine to get away with it, but I would have loved those little decorative squares that came in that die set, and those little frames, because that would have helped finish off this page beautifully. So I'll just fussy cut this one out, and that's going to add a little touch of colour over to the side. So we can see we're getting in that strawberry slush quite nicely. It's starting to balance the page out, having these little spaces around here, which is why I'm thinking I might keep this one a lighter shade, but it will be patterned up like the rest of them. And as I say, I brought in my journaling pen just to do the framing. And I may even consider doing a framing around this one too. Might just finish that off at the end. Now the last little bit of stamping is we've got our monthly title over here. But we can just add in a little subtitle, and I quite like titles having two steps to it, two levels of title size. So we've got the large font from our Cricut cut. So we can actually look through again this set, and there is a little memories. So I'm going to do January memories on this one. So nice and easy. I'll just pop my little stamping mat behind, and I'll bring in the little word memories. It's quite a small one. Make sure it's the right way round. So little it's hard to see it. And I'm going to ink up memories, and I'm just going to pop that down the bottom here. And that really does finish off that title. It just looks so much more complete when you've added a little bit more to it. Now the reason I didn't stick my pieces down is that I felt having such a big white border over summertime, when there's, you know, usually a bit of water, games involved and everything, I felt we could get away with having a bit more of a sort of a splash vibe or a little bit of vibrancy in the background. So I'm going to lift these up now, these bases, pop them to one side, and I'm just going to prepare the background a little bit. So I actually went to my stash and I found the Swirled Design set that came out at the end of last year. It's got some really lovely textured pieces, but I bet if you went through your stash you'd find a lot of other stamps. They've got these little sort of textured pieces that you can use for stamping a bit of texture through. So I'm going to grab the Pool Party, which is a very light blue, and I'm just going to work with, let me just see, I'll pull off that stamp so I can use it. Just going to work with both the little lines that kind of look like little rippled lines, and some splattery dots. So little lines, I might just stamp them first generation, second generation, although the second generation is very light, so I might need to do it a little bit more often. I'm going to do some up here as well. I might need to make sure that they are actually going to be seen. There we go, that's looking quite cool. I may go to the other corners, but I'm just going to be a little bit cautious first because I don't want to overdo it. And I'll just pop in some little splashy bits. That summery thing going on, and changing the orientation of my stamp a little, so that we get a bit of interest. Now I'll pop this back on. I may feel like there needs to be a little bit more. Oops, wrong side, that goes that side. But looking at it, that's going to show out nicely, so that's worked well. And this one, once we put this out, is getting slightly lost, so we just need a few more little lines to the side to make sure that that same effect is coming through on the page. So I'll lift that one up and just go a little bit further out. I do quite like that stamp. And it's just a touch of interest, nothing too much. Of course, you could do your splatters all over the place. You don't have to keep it uniform. I just think that's enough. I didn't want to go over the top on this one because we really are just doing a lovely, simple highlights page. We're not doing a full-blown, highly technical page in the slightest. So that's looking pretty cool. I'm just trying to think what else we needed to do. Oh, yes, we just need to finish it off. So over here on this set, we've got this little photo corner and we've got this little set of hearts. So I'm going to grab my strawberry slush colour just to keep consistency. I'm going to do a little set of hearts over here, just like a little signature on my page. So I don't know if you can see that because it's almost off camera, but I've just done a little one down the bottom. I'm also going to do those photo corners, and once again I'll grab in my little mat because I'm going to do them on this piece here. So this is where I would have used die cuts. There's some really cool kind of photo corner die cuts, but I don't have them. So I'm just using the stamp set and decorating with those. So look at that. Nice little way of finishing off the page. I could also draw some journaling lines if I prefer to be more straight with my journaling. Often the way I like to be, so I may draw some little lines in there. Then I definitely have a bit of a story to tell for January, so I'll be adding that in to finish it all off. Now the last thing you'll notice is that we could be adding in a few little extra embellishments. This is a set that goes with it, they're little puffy stickers. We could be pulling in some of these really nice kind of arrowy shapes. They could be pulling in spaces above photos, you know, wherever you like the look of them. There is also little tickets, these little and larger tickets that could kind of tuck behind anything that's been raised. Some nice little stars that could just be played around the little corners. So really nice ideas. But of course, if you've got the full-blown paper pack, there's things that you can cut out which are exactly the same, which you can use to decorate. Okay, I think that was all I was going to show you today. And of course, if you're in the club, you'll be getting the full-blown instructions with all the ways to elevate even more from what I have just said, and you're going to have a lovely page to finish off yourself. I hope you have a bit of fun with this. I hope you find it easy. It's not a technical page. I'm just showing a few little things you can do to upgrade it, but you certainly don't have to do those. And I hope you enjoy seeing your memories come to life so quickly. So just yesterday was January, and we've already got these photos down on a double page spread. So easy. So thanks for joining me today. I hope you enjoyed putting yours together. Give me a shout if you have any questions, and we will enjoy looking forward to doing February highlights at the end of the month. Talk to you all soon. Thanks for joining me. Bye-bye.